When I joined the collective was the hardest year of my life. It was harder than when my mom unexpectedly passed away in 2022. It was harder than my parents' divorce. The Valley of Despair is not a wasted time. It's not something that you just have to get through. It's an opportunity to make those things that are bothering you, make peace with it. That's what brought me to my superpowers.
Heather joined us only 10 months ago and yet just hit 15K. I will say she has walked a very deep valley of despair, what she calls her dark cloud, and we talk about it in today's interview. I am so grateful for her vulnerability. I am so grateful that she didn't give up when she was walking that valley, and that ultimately that valley provided the insight that she needed to unlock the clients she knew she could get. And that insight was teaming with other people. Today we talk about how hiring other people doesn't always have to look like hiring people to do the things you don't like to do. Sometimes hiring means looking for those kings and queens, the people who walked that path before you, and hiring them to work with you. Meet Heather.
I am so excited to be here.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how familiar were you with grant writing when you joined?
5 to 6, and only because I was an in-house writer for a really talented boss who had a lot of experience in it, but only at a 2 or a 3 when it came to getting my own clients, business development, sticky situations.
Why did you join the collective?
The wonderful nonprofit that I was working for was no longer able to keep me on for funding purposes. I was so sad because it was a dream job for me. I turned to my list of mentors and I said, what do you think I should do? My husband, my business advisor for our mental health company, and my MBA mentor, all for 3 different reasons, said, you need to keep on doing freelance grant writing. When I joined the collective, I didn't think I was going to like it so much. I have 4 kids, 10, 7, 3, and almost 2. They need me. They need something flexible. A few years down the road, then I can lean into what's important to me. My husband, his main reason why he recommended it was he knew I would enjoy it so much. And he's been right.
Gosh darn it. Don't you hate when they're right? In those moments in life, we can all relate to a point where just a couple of key people mirrored back to us what we didn't see in ourselves. And they saw something in you and you were like, okay, I trust these people enough to know that maybe there is something here. Talk to us about the hard work that went into this that included valleys of despair.
When I joined in October of 2024 was the hardest year of my life. It was harder than when my mom unexpectedly passed away in 2022. It was harder than my parents' divorce. It was also a year of just so much blessing. I had my 4th baby. Not everyone that wants a big family is able to have one, but that also came with so much responsibility, working more than I ever had before, trying to move the needle forward with our wellness for-profit business. All of it was just so much. I was already in a valley of despair when I joined the collective. And one of the main reasons that compelled me to choose the collective over other services was I do not want to figure out one more thing in my life. I want someone to give me a roadmap and tools and someone I could ask questions for, but I also love the community aspect of it. I refer to that time as my dark cloud. And on top of all those things, my job going away, there was also just a lot of family issues that were going on. You and Meredith and the collective talk about you have to do that soul care, and that was what pulled me through. My faith is the most important part of who I am. When we were talking about vision casting and what do we want our vision board to look like, I took all of that into practice. I knew that this was something sacred. I did some lie truth rewiring. You take a lie that you believe about yourself, your money, your career, your body, and you just write out everything that comes through your head in pencil. And then you write the truth in red. And then you erase the pencil and then you just read the red. I started to do that, but I found myself getting stuck. And what I did was I turned to AI and I said, having trouble coming up with truth. I want you to analyze my lies, look for themes and patterns. And I want you to give me truth. I want you to talk to me like a Christian life coach. And then I even uploaded a transcript of my favorite spoken word poem by Hannah Wong. It's called New Name. It's all identity stuff. It's my shower song. I play it every single day. This is the lie I wrote. God is playing games with me. He plays favorites. He tricks me into doing good things that aren't really good for me. These dreams aren't special. He has a meh plan for me. Hopefully I can figure it out and I will suffer if I do it wrong. So that was a lie. Then I hit play on ChatGPT. God is a powerful and intentional God who loves you. He is not a wasteful God. I'm not a pawn in someone's twisted game that God plays with your life. He is not playing favorites, and he is certainly not leading you into confusion, suffering, or despair for the sake of a cruel lesson. I can go on and on and on and on, but it was those things that led me to fusing my goals in a way that really mattered to me.
It feels like your whole life is consumed by little beings, especially at the ages that they are, that literally need you to survive.
Yes.
How did you carve out the time?
I was able to really start moving the marker after my nonprofit job ended. I started off with the time that I had really putting in the soul work when I had the time to do so, when I was no longer gainfully employed. I also have a wonderful mother-in-law that watches my kids twice a week, but I also had to make sure I was very careful to put limits on it because I love this. And honestly, this could be my full-time job and I would be happy.
Thank you for acknowledging like all of the different things that go into this. One of my favorite new saying is that things take the time you give it. So if you give a project a year, it will take the full year. If you give yourself 5 minutes a day for soul care, it's 5 minutes. If you give yourself 2 hours, you get yourself 2 hours. Thank you for all of it, committing to the whole journey.
In that time of despair, either Erica or Kate sent me an email saying, how are you doing? I was like, not good. And Erica said, I encourage you to post to the collective. I bared my soul with everything that was going on. And I had reach out to me, generously share their story. To me, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are like queens in the industry. And I was so moved by that. I was like, I'm going to reach out and pass on the love. So I posted in the collective, I said, I am 4 months into this, but if there's someone who is on day one and you want someone to cheer you on, I would love to be that person. And the amazing Paige Robinson reached out to me, and Alex, I was supporting her. She signed her first client before me. And my ego was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm a really good coach. On this side, it's so near and dear and precious to my heart, and she's someone that I get to walk alongside.
You just illustrated what happens when we compare. But then also, we are all walking our own timelines, and your timeline has been very interesting because coming from in-house tech, usually we do see signed contracts faster. You committed to the full journey. You committed to being in support and supported by the collective. And you just hit 15K in revenue about 10 months into the collective. What was the biggest factor that helped you get there?
I love to be with the kings and queens in the room. In the informational interviews, though, I would be having these meetings with big prospective clients, and then they would ask the very important question, so how long have you been doing this for? And how many grants have you won? I didn't have impressive numbers. The collective, shout out specifically to Haley Jenkins, I did a one-on-one coaching with her, and we walked through an informational interview where I lost it when I had to give my data. We talked through like what I can say. One, saying it with confidence, low and slow and clear. And then two, really leaning into the dream team. My first large client was with Mission Increase, and they're a faith-based national organization who had been approached by other grant writers and had just incredible talent at their fingertips. And I'm doing my informational interviews, and I get to that point where they ask, what are your wins? What's your track record? And I practiced the things that I said with Haley, and I went through my stats, but then I said, but I have access to niche industry experts. I will be able to pull in faith-based advisors, deep, specific, highly talented grant writers, so that you will be getting, in fact, 2 grant consulting geniuses for the price of 1-ish. And Alex, that is what closed it. Not that I was more talented than the other person that had approached them. It was that. They told me that. It's happened again and again, Alex, where it almost feels like a fun bet. I was like, who do you wish you could have, but don't have the time to get and manage? Because I'm going to go get them for you. There's a federal lobbying group that approached me through my warm network. Same thing, Alex. We would refer our clients to another Southern California-based grant firm that does very, very well, but they treated our client like garbage. We do not want to send them work anymore. But can you just prove that you have talented grant consultants that have federal experience? And I said, how about 5? And they said, okay. And I said, and what specialties are you looking for? And they gave me a list. And I said, give me a week. And I came back with 7, Alex, highly vetted, wonderful people that are able and willing to jump in and do this work with me. I am now their choice referral. That's what clicked for me. Real question is, why would they choose me over someone who is better and has bigger skills? Because they're not keeping their promises. They're not answering their clients' emails. They're not caring about the work of their clients. That's why.
We always think of hiring to buy back our time. What I've been really impressed with you specifically is that you have gone out and not been afraid to approach the grant writers, people who might seem actually untouchable. You've actually been like, hey, I need you over here. Can I hire you to do this? That growth mindset, it's a built skill, but like there's some innate intelligence in there that you're bringing from yourself.
It actually wasn't scary because we have this wonderful community base. We could post stuff all the time. There was a few people I did reach out to directly, but I posted in our community, this is the opportunity. This is the price. Is anybody interested? And I had people reaching out to me, which was wonderful.
I find it so powerful. We can apply it in so many different ways. I think it's a superpower that you are choosing to spend time with people who are talented in different ways than you.
The Valley of Despair is not a wasted time. It's not something that you just have to get through. It's an opportunity to make those things that are bothering you, make peace with it. That's what brought me to my superpower. So the low was being told, you don't have a big enough track record. So I sat with that. Well, what if I brought in people who were? I now have the privilege of being the least talented person in the room. I'm going to work so hard. I have an MBA. I have skills. I have incredible things to add value to. But by being the least talented person in the room, I no longer have to worry about my talent to get into the room. The vision could be so much bigger than me. And if it was about being the most talented in the room, if you have to be the smartest, richest, most successful, prettiest, whatever, well, then the solution is to get poor, dumb, ugly friends. Not the life that we want to be living. As I'm working with these geniuses, they're doing such important work, but it's easy for them to just kind of stay in their zone. And then I'm reviewing their work with, but we can't forget, the client wants this, this, and this. I was processing this with my business coach friend, like, is that relevant enough? And he said, I guarantee when you are delivering the work to the client, those 1 or 2, 3 things are the first things they look for in that packet.
We're all bringing a different zone of genius. I used to think I wasn't creative. That was a lie that I told myself. One day I was doing a project and then was lost in the weird, nerdy things of project management. I was like, oh, I am creative. I am not creative in maybe the way that society tells us that creativity should manifest. And that shifted it for me. Your zone of genius might not be X, you're hiring for that, but there's a zone of genius that you just articulated in all of that is unique to you. That's really beautiful. And if also the Valley of Despair helped to get to that place, it's a reason why we walk those valleys, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
You have connected really well with the community. You have an ebook. Even a collective member is maybe helping you design the cover. Do you want to just give a quick shout out?
We have a company called Porchly. We are releasing an ebook called The Porchly Method. It's permission and tools to boost your wellness through authentic connection. Passion project that my husband and co-founder and I have been working on for a long time. I reached out to the collective saying, hey, I need an awesome cover. Anybody interested? And Jordan Hall reached out and said, I will give you an awesome cover. I will also help you with publishing the book, formatting the book, and all these other things I didn't even know to ask for. She's been absolutely wonderful. It's going to be available at Amazon.
We'll put the link in the description. The genius in our community just like never ceases to amaze me. You all are out here doing like phenomenal things, like publishing ebooks on the side of landing all these cool clients. And like we're raising money, we're making connections.
During my Valley of Despair, I used to wonder, will I be able to do things that matter to me anymore? God has given it to me as this wonderful gift. Yes, these big things are within reach. It's just been so wonderful to find so much partnership and community support. And my hope for whoever experiences the ebook is that they will experience encouragement especially with their mental health. We're in a time of modern loneliness. We have all the tools for digital connection, but we're so isolated. Instead of being known as the anxious generation, what if we were able to become the connected generation?
What is your why? Why do you wake up and do this every day?
I want to bring joy to service to my family, to my friends, to my clients. Those things I want to do is with joy and in a spirit of service.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Heather, you are so unique. And I am so grateful that you have crossed our paths and that you have not given up despite how many no's that you heard in that dark cloud. Like, I'm just so thrilled that you are showing up because you are a masterpiece. And I just cannot wait to see how this continues to unfold. You're making magic, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much, Alex.